Drop in and opt out. I'm Derek J. You're listening to Peace News Now, your 5-minute report on the growing peaceful evolution around the globe. Today is Thursday, January 31st, 2013. Here's what's happening in the world of peace. Bitcoin is in the news in a big way. Tony Gallippi of BitInstant.com was featured in the February edition of Open Skies, the in-flight magazine of the United Arab Emirates. Read by wealthy international businessmen, this magazine article could help Bitcoin cross the cavern that it currently faces. To reach full adoption, international businesses will have to start using Bitcoin. Now that they've been introduced to BitInstant.com, a website that handles payment processing for over 2,000 businesses worldwide, the world market is a bit closer to using Bitcoin as a currency. In the article, which is fantastic by the way, I recommend checking it out through the link in this episode's show notes at peacenewsnow.com, Tony, the CEO of BitInstant.com, compares Bitcoin's current phase to that of the internet pre-Netscape. The tools are not yet in place for the everyday average user to adopt Bitcoin into their own lives, but for some businesses, the moment is ripe for Bitcoin, as it will help them avoid many of the pesky fees associated with doing business internationally. I am encouraged by this report of Bitcoin in a mainstream magazine, and I will look forward to future growth from my favorite alternative currency. Meanwhile, the criminals at the Federal Reserve are playing their last slow dance as they are whisked away into the antiquated dreams of yesteryear's tyrannical regimes. Free the currency, free the people. Are you tired of the US government killing people around the world? Are you tired of having to pay for their murderous rampage? Are you tired of feeling helpless to do anything about it? Well, now there's something you can do. It's called Bitcoin. Bitcoin is money that is impossible for the government to control. It is impossible to be counterfeited or inflated. Bitcoin is simply a peer-to-peer protocol, so it is impossible for anyone to shut it down, block it, or control it in any way. If you want to see an end to the government inflating the dollar to pay for murder, then you need to start using Bitcoin today. To learn how, visit weusecoins.com. SodaStream is a company which manufactures soda makers for home consumption by individuals. SodaStream's main production site is in Mishor Edomim, an Israeli settlement industrial park located in the West Bank. The land where the SodaStream factory is located was illegally confiscated by the Israeli military occupation authorities from Palestinian owners. Israeli settlements are an impediment to peace and violate international law. Some believe that companies should not profit from products that are made on stolen property, or that perpetuate the Israeli occupation of the West Bank. So what to do? Individual consumers can show their opposition to Israelis' violations by participating in a consumer boycott of companies, goods, and services involved in Israeli policies violating Palestinian human rights and international law. A consumer boycott works in two ways. Firstly, by generating public awareness about Israeli apartheid and occupation as well as international support for it, and secondly, by applying economic pressure for change. Across the world, supporters of Palestinian rights are advocating boycotts adopting a number of diverse actions: pickets of retailers, letter-writing campaigns, pressure from civil society organizations such as NGOs, faith groups, and trade unions. Popular pressure has forced retailers to stop selling Israeli produce and produce from illegal settlements in particular. The consumer boycott is beginning to bite too. A fifth of Israeli exporters reported a drop in demand as a result of the boycott in the wake of the Gaza massacre in 2008 and 2009. Peace News Now would like to thank Davey Barker of Silver Circle Movie at silvercircle.com for writing an excellent review of the movie Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. The film is both a record of the activism that goes on in Keene, New Hampshire, including cameos by many other activists, and a personal narrative of Derek J and his growth as an activist. It's philosophy in action. Thank you, Davey Barker, for your kind words and your tireless activism. You can learn more about Davey's projects at silvercircle.com. Also in the news, the New York Times reported that on Monday, the State Department decided to fire Daniel Fried from his job as special envoy for closing the prison at Guantanamo Bay, and replace him with no one. Guantanamo Bay, the U.S. military prison in Cuba where the administration may torture and indefinitely detain suspected terrorists without a trial of their peers or due process, will thus remain open, and another promise from Emperor Obama is broken without recourse. That's all the time we have for today. Links to these stories can be found in this episode's show notes. PNN is on YouTube, iTunes, Twitter, and Facebook. If you enjoyed this episode, share the piece with your friends. For PeaceNewsNow.com, I'm Derek J. Peace.